Hi, in the last video, we created APIs create where we insert a new data or update the existing data. Here we are going to create get all data. So we are going to create get mapping. So this API basically use if you want to fetch all student data, we need this APIs and we are giving the URL get all. So we are in the student server, we are going to create the business logic. Here object node response. Student related dot find all. Basically, there is a inbuilt find all in the JPA directory. We don't have to write any custom query, and it will find all. Basically, it will fetch all the data from the database and return the data. And here we are checking if the we are checking also student list. If it is empty, then we are going to return the response here only. Response dot it. If there is no any data present, then we return the response stating that error and no student found. If the student list is empty, then we are going to return no student is found, and here we are returning the response. If the list having some student list, then we are going to return the list. Here we are going to create the array node. So in the student list, we are getting the list of students. Here we are creating the array node so that all the students we can manage in the array node. And we are going to iterate on the student list, and for every student list object we are going to iterate each value and store in the student mode. Student id here is student id, and you are going to student name and then email. and then phone number. So all four attributes we extract and added in the student node, and finally we are going to add in the array node. Array node dot add student node. It will iterate on the entire list, entire student list, and store the data in the array node. And finally, we are going to return the response. Response. Student data fetched successfully, and finally this. And finally, we are returning the response. Basically, in this API, we fetch all data, and the list is empty. Then we are returning. There is no student found. If list is containing at least one student, then we are iterating on each student and adding the data. And finally, in the response, we are returning the data. So this way, and we are going to restart our server, and the URL we are getting is student/get ID. The term gets started on the port 8080. We are going to test whether I'm getting the data or not. Here, same URL. So here is student and get all. So these are the final. This is the final URL get all. And we are just setting the URL. Just finally fetch all the data. These three data is available on the database. Rahul, Rohan, Rakesh. So these all three data we successfully fetched. We can also check this. So this way we created one more API, fetch all detail. Yes. And for we are going to create one more using the get method. Here we are going to fetch student by ID. Suppose I want to fetch a particular ID. We are passing a ID 3. I want to fetch data for the Rakesh. I don't want to fetch another particular ID and particular student data I want. We are going to create a different kind of a place. Get, get student by ID. Here we are fetching based on the student ID. So here we are going to pass integer student ID. We are creating a get student by ID and just passing the student ID here. Yes. We are going to create this method create get student by ID in student service. Yes. JSON node response. And first, we are checking this student ID is valid or not. If it is a valid, then we are fetching the data we are from the database. If it is not valid, then we are throwing the error response. We are using the optional class. Student ID, and we are checking if the student dot is present. In this scenario, we are going to get the data if it is a valid, and put the data in the response. Student ID dot get student ID. We are going to add some more attribute student name, then name, email, get email ID, and phone number. Yes, and in case if it is not present, then the else case we are going to giving the response dot put student is not available. And finally, we are going to return the response. In this way, what we did, there is a student ID we are getting, and we are checking the particular student ID is present in database or not. If it is a present, then we are returning the value, student ID, student name, email, and phone number. If it is not present, then we are in the response we are returning status error and showing the message student is not available. And finally, returning the response. We are also going to test view the Postman. We will see. Once again, we have to restart our application. There is some error student ID. There is some minor error test. Finally, our Tomcat server is started on 8080 port. So we are going to take this API as well. Here, this is also git mapping to keep as a git mapping. And the URL is same http colon slash localhost colon 8080 student slash we are going to pass the student ID. Suppose we are passing student ID 1 and we are hitting. Yes, we are getting the response again student 1 Rahul in the database. And we are also going to pass to Rohan is also present. Rakesh is also present. We are giving any other which is not present. 12 we are giving as a student ID. And here it is showing it is error student is not available. Yeah, it is working both in the if it is a present we are getting the data. If it is not present, then we are getting the error message. So that way we are also completed fetch how to fetch student by ID. And there is a one more API left. We are also just complete this. Suppose I want to delete any student data from database. We have to also write one more API. It is somehow similar to the student get by ID. Here we are going to use delete mapping, and here we are going to pass student ID, delete student by ID, and here we are passing the student ID. We are going to create delete student by ID and passing the student ID here. And we are now going to create the delete student by ID in the student service. Just create this method. Okay. So we are first we will check this student ID is valid or not. So using the optional class, we are going to paste find by ID and passing the student ID. And we are checking if optional student dot is present. Then we are going to delete. Then we are going to delete just giving the student repository dot delete student and returning in the response. We are adding the response. That is a success. Response dot student data deleted successfully. And in case of it is not present, then in the else case, we are returning the error message. And finally, we are going to return the response now. So basically, what I did here, there is so we are getting the student ID, and first we are checking the student ID is present in our database or not. If it is a present, we are going to delete particular student. If it is not present, then we are throwing the response stating that the student is not available. So we are going to test this API as well. in our through the Postman, and we are passing one valid student ID, and we are passing one is the invalid student ID, and we'll see the response. Here once again we have to restart our server. Finally, the Tomcat started on port 8080, and we are going to test this as well. So we are using the delete mapping, then we have to change get to delete, and this is the same URL we have. Suppose I want to delete data 3 and hit this button, request button. Data is deleted, and we can also check from the database key Rakesh is there. If they refresh the data, and we see it is not showing, it means it is deleted now. And we are passing one more which is not showing. We are passing ID 12, and we are getting the response the error student is not available. So this way the delete API is working fine. And finally we are going to in here, and we are also going to create much different kind of project. We are in future we are going to create some more project regarding to the Java Spring Boot, and uh, kindly like my and share and subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you so much.